Okay, so for this project, we're going to be drawing a giraffe, basically like from the neck up. So the first thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to start in portrait style, but then I'm going to turn it on its side for landscape so I can draw an oval. So I'm going to go right in the middle of my paper. So we want a long, flat oval to start. Then I'm going to move my paper back. If when I move it back, I don't like it, I can erase it and fix it to be a little bit better. From here, I'm going to add a half circle. So I'm going to start on the side right here. I'm going to go up. And down. Next, I'm going to draw the little horns up here. And then I'm going to draw a circle on the end. Next, I'm going to draw my ears. So I'm going to go in between this part and here. I'm just going to go straight out like an oval, half oval, and then back in. Do the same thing on the other side. Out, half oval, and then back in. Next, I'm going to add 2 eyes. Then I'm going to add the nostrils on the nose. So I'm going to turn it on its side again and do 2 ovals on the side. And now I'm just going to go straight down for the neck. Once I'm done with this, I'm going to add my Sharpie on top and then erase over my pencil so all my pencil lines are gone. So you can see that I did color in the eyes. I left a little bit of a white spot. And now I'm going to split my ears in half like this. And I also, you can either close this part off up here or leave it open. I left it open. And so now I'm going to go through with my eraser and erase all of my pencil lines so it's nice and clean. Next, we're going to draw the shapes for the pattern of the giraffe. So the shapes are not perfect. You just kind of start making kind of like a square, but not quite. It's kind of like that. Again, they're not perfect. I'm not going to add any right here on the nose, but I can add some on the face. So I might do a couple small sections up here. I might fill some in all the way. Just a couple more around here. Next, I'm gonna use some watercolor crayons, or maybe you're gonna use markers, colored pencils, crayons, regular watercolor. It's up to you, or whatever I'm telling you that you need to use. Today I'm gonna use these watercolor crayons. So I color it like a crayon, and then when I add water to it, it's gonna turn into watercolor. So you can see that I colored it very colorful. If you're gonna do colors like this where I'm blending my red into my yellow into my orange, they need to be analogous colors. That means colors that sit next to each other on the color wheel. You don't want to do that with colors that are opposite from each other, because then when you add your water, it's going to turn like a brown. So if I'm going to blend colors, they need to be sitting next to each other on the color wheel. Now I'm going to activate those watercolor crayons by getting my paintbrush wet, and I'm just going to try to keep my paintbrush in that one area that I have the color. So it doesn't need to be very wet. I'm going to start up here at the top, and I'm just going to try to paint on my yellow. You can see it turns it into paint. I'm going to wash my brush off really well, and then I'm going to move in to my purple. If I mix my colors right here, they're going to turn brown because they are opposite from each other on the color wheel. So I'm going to try to keep them separate. So now in this section on the face, I'm not going into my other colors yet. I've already done the red. Now I'm going to do the yellow. Again, trying not to get it into other areas. Then I'm going to do my orange. See, I have green here. I'm going to go around the green. I'm going around the purple, around the blue. And now I can take my brush and kind of blend these two together on the side. Because they're analogous colors, they sit next to each other on the color wheel, it's going to look fine. After I'm done with that section, now I clean my brush off again. Clean brush. Now I can add water to my colored spots, because we do not want to mix our colors up. Next, I'm going to choose one color that I think is really going to make the other ones pop out, and I'm just going to do a small outline around the outside and then paint it. So for me, I think I'm going to do yellow because I like how the yellow is popping in these other areas. So I'm just going to do a little bit of yellow around the outside. I'm trying not to color on my giraffe. I'm just doing an outline. And then I'm going to paint it all the way around. We're not going to paint the whole thing. We're going to leave some of these sections white because we're going to end up cutting it out. Now I'm going to cut around, not on my line. I'm going to go slightly around it so it kind of has like a glowing effect around my giraffe. So then when we glue it onto our black paper, it looks really cool. So you can see that I just left a little bit of space around my giraffe. The last thing that I'm going to do is glue my giraffe onto my black paper, making sure I line the straight neck up at the bottom and making sure that it's gonna fit on my paper on the sides. It might be a close fit, but it should be able to work. We are gonna use the bottle glue to do this. So to make sure that it's open, we just unscrew it the other way, the opposite way. I see a gap, that means it's open. I turn it over. I make sure that my tip of my glue bottle is touching my paper as I squeeze, and I do not need very much at all. I should not have big puddles of glue around my paper. So you can see that I do not have that much glue on there, just a little bit. Lining it up with the bottom. Making sure it fits on the sides, and then holding it, counting to 30 and moving my hands all around the page so it sticks.